Hi gang, it's your favorite, the fool-loving Shintoist, Reigetsu, bringing you the correct explanation of all the gods of Japan in their chronological order of appearances, the Japanese mythology, and Shintoism. After bringing you 2 videos on our views regarding homosexuality and transsexuality, please click on the links above to find out the answer. To expand more on the topic of sex, today I would like to talk about how is sex viewed in Shinto. For all audiences who are waiting to find out more on the other gods of Japan, thank you for your patience, and I will resume with the gods once I finish this topic. I am going to be sharing lots of information I got from these books, The Sexual Power Bible by Natsume Matsuriko and Kojiki no Uchu by Takeuchi Mutsuhiro, to name a few. So, the Shinto view on sex. Let's see how our wise ancestors, the Jomon, viewed it. Remember, we are nature worshippers also, but have nothing to do with the pothead hippies.
Hippies, they're everywhere. They want to save the earth, but all they do is smoke pot and smell bad. Help!
We love and adore nature, which is beauty itself expressed by the gods. We are created from nature. Sex is something we do naturally. It's a natural phenomenon, hence sex is that of nature, thus making sex beautiful. At the same time, sex was considered to be something divine and spiritual from the Jomon era. In Japanese, se means sex, and sei means divine. In Koshinto, any word which has the same pronunciation despite having a different meaning can possess the same vibrational frequency and power of the other word to mean or to resonate as the same thing, or as we call kotodama. This is still practiced here in Japan when we encounter some hotels and buildings which does not have the 4th floor, because shi, 4, and shi, death, can interact with one another energetically. So, sei is seinaru in Koshinto, what our Jomon ancestors practiced. Sex was always spiritual, which was something most treasured, the union between a man and a woman which created life itself. This was a concept my ancestors knew and understood, unlike some primitive cultures which did not understand that having intercourse created a new life and was not something spontaneously done by the female body exclusively. The yin and the yang has to combine for this to happen. They also understood how energy called spirit or kami or consciousness or whatever you want to call it entered the new body, which also symbolized the union between the visible and the invisible world. They even practiced sex in the Iyashirochi, the soothing lands, which was also used to heal themselves. These places are believed to have an abundance of the negative ions, what our bodies need, which not only made the place a powerful energy spot, but also the places where people went to get better and also to practice sex in a more powerful way. Many scientists believe when we absorb negative ions, what the barefoot technology teaches, it has a faster healing effect and is also anti-aging. My ancestors understood this without having labs. So, what would be a better place to practice the biggest pleasure in life than in a place that recharges you and makes your senses even keener? And since sex was spiritual, divine, and natural, they used to practice sex in nature, being one with it, to not only to have a more powerful orgasm, but to have a more profound, meaningful relationship and connection to each other and with the energies that we call kami or gods. This was something that they felt not only with their entire bodies, but with their entire existences, as in also spiritually. This is why it is also considered spiritual. And also, this is what made my ancestors experts in giving sexual ecstasies to each other. My ancestors could beat any porn stars when it comes to giving their partner a deep and powerful orgasm. As evidence, the Jomon doki is the representation of everything that I just said. Kaen doki, the fire doki, is less wide on the bottom, which means this is the place to absorb the energy from the earth, representing either the feet or the lady part, which goes upwards and inside our bodies, and then the energy whirls within and burns like fire with passion and love. Of course, there are more theories on what they mean, but from what I have read and researched, what I mentioned just now seems to be one of the most popular explanations. Maybe this was the reason why my ancestors were not butchering each other like other civilizations around them with war. At least for 17,000 years before the Yayoi era, there were no wars in the now called the Land of the Rising Sun. No weapons nor walls were ever found from the Jomon era, nor the Q-Jomon era. They were too busy making love and not war. It was so important we viewed having a meaningful sexual relationship as something similar to nirvana, something to reach pure divine happiness or enlightenment like the Buddhist or the Taoist would say. That being said, we can have sex for pleasure in Shinto, as long as you don't enter the realm of lust. This all came to an end when we accepted other immigrants who escaped their war-torn lands, who taught us the concept of war, something those immigrants all regretted later on. We have always promoted sex since the Jomon era and was never seen as something dirty for at least 17,000 years, until different religions and mentalities that should have never been accepted in Japan in the first place came in and screwed with our beautiful, peaceful, and original philosophy.
Well, imagine my shock.
The last thing we needed were foreigners who came from war-torn countries of continual bloodshed and massacre telling us what to think, believe, and do. Hypocrisy at its best. I am not saying we have the best mentality or philosophy or the correct ones. I am simply saying this is how we think and we are happy with it. But thankfully now, those foreign mentalities and philosophies are getting more and more ignored by the younger generation. I believe we are slowly going back to the roots of what our wise ancestors have known and practiced. As you can see, the ancestors of Japan had a civilization with a fine balance between the material and the spiritual. The ancient shrines are also powerful evidences of that, as they enshrined figures of male and female genitals, which are material, inside holy places, spiritual, which were the symbols which created new things to the world. We even have the gods of genitalia, for crying out loud, the older siblings of Izanagi no Okami and Izanami no Okami, which I will be getting into soon. So why do some people consider it dirty here in Japan now? One of the many reasons is due to all the massive production of porn. People tend to mistake the traditional sex or making love with f***ing. Two different things. And as I mentioned before, the foreign philosophies and religions contaminated our minds as the country progressed. But of course, we Shintoists still view sex exactly how our wise ancestors viewed it and will never view it otherwise. To us, sex is natural, spiritual, and divine. Period. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to find out more interesting and deep facts starting from the origin of Japan. Coming up, I will answer one of the biggest criticisms we get regarding Shinto on the sexes. Till then, folks, yasaka!